Well, for more than a year now, help wanted and now hiring signs have been plastered along highways and businesses really across the U.S. So where is all the labor and what does it mean for small businesses in small towns? Here's John Phibbs.
From Scott Emick in St. Peter, Minnesota. In rural America, every 40 miles or so, there is a manufacturing plant for a national business. How are the small independent businesses that are grain elevators, welding shops, independent seed dealers, local co-ops, etc., going to continue to be able to find labor at wages they can pay? There's going to be a big discrepancy between national businesses and locals in the pay scale. I fear even more for the small town Main Street. This is a great question, Scott. Like you, I see evidence of this all over my county. We have some light manufacturing in the single town of size, about 9,000, and everyone has a sign out about hiring. Some fast food outlets are not opening the dining rooms due to lack of personnel. Finding help is also a constant gripe among farmers. But this is not so much about being rural, but rather being at full employment. While economists bicker about the definition of full employment, at 3.6%, we can't be far away. The idea there is a pool of slackers sitting and drawing government aid is inaccurate at best. At worst, this pool is no bigger than it ever was. Labor force participation is 82.6%, the best since 19. Total employment is 158 million, the same as it was before the pandemic. Meanwhile, real wages, which have been adjusted for inflation, continue to drop, suggesting there is no compelling demand for labor, rather just cheap labor. Rural employment faces some unique issues, however. While wages are generally lower than in cities, the cost of living is significantly lower as well, primarily due to housing. Rural America continues to lose population faster than urban areas, and the worker pool is not just smaller, but older and less educated. Growth in largely rural states has been almost exclusively on the fringes of growing urban centers. Working in the city and living in the country is a good economic strategy for all kinds of workers, which shrinks the pool for truly rural employers. Add in automation, like restaurants going from wait staff to kiosks or all carryout, online retailing, and less immigration of all kinds, and rural employers face a stiff challenge. Of course, there is a wage level that will attract those workers, but for too many small firms, they cannot operate with such labor costs.
Thanks, John. And last week's customer support, it also drew a lot of interest. To watch that and all of John's commentaries on our YouTube page, just use that QR code on your screen. All right, when we come back, how the heat and dryness is actually taking its toll on farms. From the farm, it's next.